it's time for the KP Video News, and I'm getting back to my regular broadcast here. And because I had been doing the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas updates, and doing some live shows there. So I'm back to my regular newscast here, and I'm gonna get started right away because we got a lot to cover. And this is one of the stories you got to dig deep into, because it states that the Trump administration is planning to ease the fair housing regulations for local governments throughout the country. The latest effort to scale back sweeping Obama-era rules meant to crack down on segregation. The Department of Housing and Urban Development this week will propose a rule, Shazam! The rule which the Obama administration introduced as a way to beef up enforcement of the landmark Fair Housing Act of 1968 required local governments to track patterns of poverty and segregation with a checklist of 92 questions in order to gain access to federal housing funds. The regulation as it stands is too prescriptive an outcome for jurisdiction, HUD will say in the new rule, according to a copy of the proposal obtained. Since the issuance of the 2015 final rule, HUD has determined that the current regulations are overly burdensome to both HUD and grantees, are ineffective in helping program participants meet their reporting obligations, the proposal states. The revised rule would alleviate the unintended consequences of discouraging the use of federal assistance in communities that need additional help instead of restrictions, according to the proposal. And this time you have, this isn't the first time that Uncle Ben Carson has tinkered with Obama-era fair housing rules, which he derided as social engineering. Fair housing groups unsuccessfully sued Carson and HUD in 2018 after he announced a 5-year delay in implementing the 2015 rule. And in August, the agency proposed revamping the groundbreaking 2013 disparate impact rule to make it harder to prove unintentional discrimination. The fair housing advocates see the latest attempt rule as a sign that communities rife with discrimination would now be rewarded with taxpayer dollars rather than pressured to change. HUD is basically letting these jurisdictions and public housing authorities off the hook, said Lisa Rice, executive president of the Fair Housing Alliance. The proposal is a step in the wrong direction. It would weaken fair housing enforcement and basically abdicate jurisdictions and public housing authorities from their fair housing responsibilities, she said. It's even weaker than the scheme that HUD had before the 2015 rule was implemented, that the system of the Government Accountability Office found to be completely inept and ineffective. So this, in conjunction with the new rules that they're coming out with right now, that are going to free up billions, if not trillions of dollars to urban redevelopment. However, this money is not going to those poor communities that really actually need the money. What it's doing is when they wrote the tax law that they signed into effect a couple of years ago, that tax law created a loophole, a tax loophole for anybody that real estate investors. So if you look at it really closely, you'll discover that Jared Kushner and his company and a lot of other companies that are associated with Trump that have given and donated a lot of money to his campaign are buying properties from Florida to Seattle, from LA to New York. They're investing trillions of dollars into real estate, and at the same time they're getting trillions of dollars in tax breaks. So they're building, not refurbishing those communities that really need the money. They're building high-rise condos and tearing down housing projects and putting townhouses and stuff in their places with the rents, where the rents are 10 times higher than what they were prior to them tearing them down, and they're profiting off of this. So this not only was the tax bill that they passed an incentive, and not only was that the biggest transfer of wealth that ever happened in world history, not just U.S. history, It transferred trillions of dollars of wealth out of the hands of the people into the hands of the wealthy, all in one swoop of the pen. Now, to make matters even worse, they're transferring all of the property. The gentrification is going on nationwide. All of the property is being transferred over from the poor people that cannot afford the lawyers and stuff to fight. And if you go to Los Angeles, you'll see thousands of people that are sleeping on the sidewalk because they can no longer afford to pay the rent in those cities because the landlords have jacked the price of the rents up so high. It's ridiculous. You know, I've heard stories of people paying close to $1,000 a month just renting a room, not an apartment, a room. So it's really bad, and they're just pushing people out on the street. So now this is a phase. They're going to the next phase. The next phase is by reverting and changing these laws and these rules and these regulations, it frees up even more money for these investors to grab more government money, your tax dollars going into the pocket of these already wealthy real estate developers. And if you think Trump is not getting his share, if you think he's not buying up some of these properties too, you never should have woke up this morning, because that you're lying to yourself. So this now you understand why he wants to become president so bad. This is not only a financial grab, it's a land grab, a nationwide land grab as well, taking the property from the poor. And so the next question I have is, after you boot all these people out of their properties and out of their houses onto the streets, and now, I mean, just like Las Vegas came up with a rule that states, well, you know, no homeless people can no longer sleep on the ground, on the sidewalks or whatever. So it's like, okay, that's going to be an automatic 6 months in jail. And so far, they got this thing on hold. So is that the next step, to just force all poor people into prison? You need to do your investigation on this. I've done mine, and I'm trying to report to you what's going on. And if you really want to dig deeper, you can by you know, just Googling some of these things that I'm talking about. Just Google taxes, Google property real estate investments nationwide in 2020, and just Google all of these things, and you'll find out exactly what I'm saying is true. So here we go with the next lawsuit. According to the lawsuit, McDonald's saw a startling decrease in the number of black franchises in 2015 when Steve Easterbrook became the CEO and Chris Kazimski became the head of the U.S. business. Kazimski became CEO in 2019 when Easterbrook was abruptly forced to leave the company. Disproportionate loss of nearly 1/3 of the African-American franchisee at McDonald's in the Easterbrook and Kazimski era was intentional, or in the alternative, it was a reckless disregard of plainly forcible consequences of business decisions made by Easterbrook and Kazimski and their minions, the complaint alleges. In December, Business Insider published an investigation into McDonald's black franchises claims that their stores net roughly $68,000 less per month than the system-wide average. According to documents from the National Black McDonald's Owners Association obtained by Business Insider, there were 304 black McDonald's franchises at the end of 2008. By the end of 2017, it showed their number had dropped to 222. By late 2019, the Business Insider black franchises made up fewer than 200 of the roughly 1,700 McDonald's franchises. The culture of and the fabric of the company hasn't cared to address the disparity towards African Americans, McDonald's franchisee Jim Bird told Insider on Wednesday. At McDonald's, our actions are rooted in our belief that a diverse, vibrant, inclusive, respectful company makes it a stronger, blah, blah, blah. While we disagree with the characterization of the complaint, we are currently reviewing it and will respond to the complaint accordingly. the representative said. So that means don't call us, we'll call you. So the Black McDonald's Business Owners Association have something I never knew even existed, have filed a lawsuit against McDonald's for what they're doing, and just like they're driving the black owners out. They're driving them out. Okay. Santia Deck becomes the first woman to sign a multi-million-dollar football contract, and those are the pictures that I had at the beginning of the broadcast. You may never have heard of Santia Deck before, but know that she made history after she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to become the face of the new Women's Football League Association, the WFLA, which is planned to debut in 2021. Deck, who is known as the Queen of Abs, has been a successful track star, rugby player, and flag football player, will play for the WFLA Los Angeles franchise. Deck also carries a massive following on social media and became a celebrity fitness trainer before publishing a book and multiple fitness DVDs. I've had many ups and downs in the sports world, but to know that I'm the highest paid female football player to date only confirms God always has a plan. The WFLA hosted its first draft last year in August in Las Vegas and touts 2 conferences with a total of 32 teams. The teams include New Orleans Melody, Nashville Honeybees, Atlanta Amazons, Miami Jewels, Charlotte Crews, Washington Widows, New York Stars, Boston Gypsies, Chicago Breeze, Detroit Freeze, Philadelphia Assassins, Milwaukee Queens, Baltimore Bells, Pittsburgh Vixens, Cleveland Captains, Birmingham Bombshells, Seattle Reign, San Francisco Cranes, Diego Waves, Las Vegas Devils, Phoenix Burns, Minnesota Shield Maidens, OKC Lightning, Salt Lake Lilies, Denver Pumas, Dallas Diamondbacks, Houston Shooters, Arkansas Mockingbirds, Portland Pirates, Kansas City Red Feathers, Albuquerque Angels, and the Fames. So I guess the Fames would be the Los Angeles Fames, F-A-M-E-S, Fames. And so hey, first she got her contract, to be the she got the it is what it is. So they got female football league they're getting ready to start. So I guess it's gonna be tackle. It's not gonna be touch or flag or whatever. It's gonna be tackle. Women's tackle football coming in 2021. So get ready. And Santia is the first one that got chosen to do that. All right. KP's video news. That's the news, and I'm sticking with it.